What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Kid Taj, and today, for the first time, we actually have some games to talk about. I'm so excited, just because the NBA season kicked off, and it was a great night of NBA basketball to start the season. I'm going to recap the games. I'm going to get through everything. If you missed anything, I'm going to break down everything that was notable to me, and yeah, we're going to jump right into this. Except before we do, I'm just going to say, please leave a like if you enjoyed, comment a new idea down below if you want to see a video from me about whatever you want, and subscribe if you're new. So, let's get into this thing. We start off in Cleveland, the ring ceremony. The Cleveland Cavaliers, 2016 NBA champions, getting their rings before the game. They're right across the street from the Cleveland Indians, who are now in the World Series for the MLB, which is very interesting. You got two champions, or I'm not going to say anything, but, you know, possibly two champions if the Indians pull it out. But you know, that's a pretty interesting thing. Cleveland never known as a city of winning, but you know, now you look at what's going on there, and you know, future looks pretty bright for that city in terms of sports. But the Cleveland Cavaliers are here to ball, and that's exactly what they did. LeBron James came in, and he looked as good as I've seen him in a long time. I mean, he was great in the finals. He's been great, but in this game, He didn't even look like he was trying, but he was getting dunks and dunks and dunks. He was getting multiple block shots, chase down blocks. He had 14 assists. I mean, his court vision was unbelievable. LeBron with a triple-double, 19 points, 14 dimes, and 11 rebounds on opening night. He played out of his mind, I thought. Nothing negative to say about him. Honestly, you can't find anything. Any criticism this guy gets is just foolish. You know, if you look at that game, that's an incredible opening night from LeBron James. Kyrie Irving also with 29 points. He really lit it up in the second half. This guy, he's a scoring machine. He looked like that NBA Finals Kyrie Irving in that second half. And Tyronn Lue was saying about Kyrie Irving that, you know, he wants him to be carrying a bigger load than he was ever before. And he wants him to be like that Allen Iverson type player, which is actually, when you think about it, it's a really good comparison. Allen Iverson to Kyrie Irving, they're both super quick, small, get into the lane, finish over the top. They both got great dribble moves. You know, a lot of similarities there. So, yeah. The Cavs came in and absolutely decimated the New York Knicks, especially in that second half. They had no answer. In the first half, Melo and D Rose they actually had a very good first half, but then, you know, in the second half, it all just fell apart. They couldn't do anything. And, you know, it was just all isolation scoring. When Derrick Rose was getting to the rim, you know, that was just him driving to the basket. It wasn't creating for anyone else. Same thing with Melo. He was hitting a couple pull-up jumpers here and there, but it's not like Carmelo Anthony was running, you know, a ball movement or, I guess I would say like a team offense, like the triangle offense, and that wasn't happening. You know, the Knicks like they want to run the triangle offense, but, you know, that wasn't really intact for that game. And, you know, their defense was also terrible. Courtney Lee, 0 points is another notable. Let's talk about the next game. So after Cleveland and New York, it was a rout. It was LeBron James' show. And, you know, Kyrie got in there a little bit at the end. The Utah Jazz in Portland. This one was actually a thriller. This was the only close game of the night. Utah Jazz, without Gordon Hayward, without Derek Favors, were still able to keep it close in Portland against the Blazers. And if it weren't for Damian Lillard's late efforts, and just throughout the game, Damian Lillard was absolutely lighting it up. This guy went for 39 points, 9 boards. I mean, honestly, when it comes to the clutch, there are not a lot of players you can take over Damian Lillard to take a last shot or take shots down the stretch. This guy is absolutely money, and he showed off his clutch ability in this game as well. So he goes for 39. There's a lot of talk about Damian Lillard being an MVP candidate, being the MVP. He wants to be MVP. Steve Kerr said he's going to be MVP, or that's his pick for MVP. We'll definitely see how the season goes, but that's a great first opening night for Damian Lillard. He had the best stat line out of everybody, probably, on opening night. Also, I think McCollum had like 25, 26 points, so the dynamic duo for Portland was definitely at it. And Utah Jazz, Joe Johnson with 29, and Rodney Hood. Rodney Hood is a guy that I should talk about more, because this guy has a lot of potential. I think he's going to be a great player in this league. A 6'8 shooting guard that's super quick. He's got handles, crazy handles. He can shoot. He can dunk. I mean, this guy is the real deal. He had 26 in a loss. This one was a thriller. Let's talk about the last game. This was by far the craziest game out of all three. And it's not crazy because of the score. Actually, a little bit. The Spurs put up 129 points on the Golden State Warriors. But that's the only thing crazy about it. Golden State got beat by 29 points. I don't think Golden State lost by 29 points all of last season. And they won their first 24 games. And they didn't lose a home game until like the last 15 games of the year. And they only lost 2 home games total. But on the first game, they take a 30-point home L with Kevin Durant joining the squad. And Kevin Durant, it's not like he had a bad game either. I mean, he had 27 points. This dude was lighting it up in the first quarter. He couldn't miss in the first quarter. But the Spurs, this is why I don't think people give the Spurs enough credit. It's because I said it in my video for the contenders. The Spurs have the game plan. Okay? They're not going to fold. They're not going to choke. They are the most consistent team in the NBA. Okay? They're just not going to do any of those things that you see. You know, they're not going to have stretches where they just miss like 10 shots in a row and they can't guard you. They're always going to play great defense. They're always going to have shooters open. Their offense works. They have a great coach. They know how to take down teams like the Warriors, and they showed it on opening night. That's exactly what they did. Kawhi Leonard, I don't understand why people are still sleeping on this guy. I had him ranked third. I think he's the third best player in the NBA. People think that's crazy. People think that a guy like Kevin Durant or a guy like Westbrook is better than Kawhi Leonard. But I'll tell you what those guys don't have. You see Kawhi Leonard go out there. You see him lock up. You see him take the ball away from Steph Curry and then dunk it on Kevin Durant. Who else is going to do that in the NBA? Are there players that can really do that? Westbrook, maybe. Westbrook actually, he's got that. But Kawhi Leonard has the best defense in the NBA, and it's not even close. Kawhi Leonard dropped 35 points on the Warriors. Klay Thompson had no answer for Kawhi Leonard. He could not stop him. He could not guard him. Kawhi went crazy. He had 35, 5, and 3. He absolutely stuffed the stat sheet, led the Spurs to a victory. Why I think he's the third best player over KD is because he's a lockdown defensive player. I always say defense is underrated. People don't appreciate defense. And then also, he's an incredible shooter. He's one of the most efficient players in the NBA. He always wins games. And don't say it's the system, because this guy is the leader of the system. He gets everybody going. He is the main guy. He is the best player on that team. And he's going to have an MVP caliber season again this season. And he's going to be better than he was last year. Let's talk about Jonathan Simmons. So we talked about KD and Kawhi. Steph Curry, he hit a couple threes here and there. I think he had like 25, 26 points. But, not enough. He didn't have that big of an impact on the game. It didn't feel like, because all of his shots, they were down 10, 15. They got down a little bit, and then they just kept getting down more and more and more until the end of the game. Jonathan Simmons. I said it last year, and I didn't have a YouTube channel that I was talking about basketball on last year, so y'all didn't hear it. But Jonathan Simmons, I said, this guy is good. This guy's going to get more minutes. This guy's going to be a very good player, I think. He came from the D-League. He was nobody. And what did he prove last game? He's a lockdown defender. He had that chase down block on Curry. I was going nuts. I was like, what the fuck? That shit is crazy. Jonathan Simmons, he has a jump shot now. I know y'all saw him stroke those threes in that buzzer beater. I believe it was in KD's face. I think something like that. The Warriors, I don't even think they looked that bad. I mean, it's not like their offense was looking dysfunctional. They scored 100 points, which, they should be scoring more than that. Their threes didn't really go down. But their defense was awful. I mean, Kawhi Leonard, Clay just did not have any luck against Kawhi Leonard. Pau Gasol didn't do anything. He had like 2 points. LaMarcus Aldridge was pouring in shots. And then Jonathan Simmons off the bench. I think, I don't know. It wasn't Iguodala guarding him, or he was guarding Ginobili maybe, but I don't know. The ball movement is killer. I don't know how good the rotations are for this Golden State team, but they got to figure something out. Teams with ball movement are going to kill them. Now, I do still think that Golden State's going to take the 1 seed. I do still think that they're going to be the best team in the NBA this year during the regular season, because I don't think that a loss by 30 against the Spurs really, you can't jump to conclusions and say they suck now, because it's the Spurs. I mean, the Spurs will expose anybody. And they exposed the Warriors. But the Warriors, I don't know who they play next game, but they can't be playing a team that good. They're not playing the Cavs. So, that's that. Wow. It was crazy. Honestly, Kawhi Leonard, I just wanted to see him succeed, and he played out of his mind. I can't believe he a career high 35. I don't like that it's his career high because Kawhi Leonard doesn't rely on huge scoring totals. He's a very consistent scorer. He usually is getting 20 a night and not really fooling around with getting 40 or whatever. Just because, he's getting his consistent 20 games in a row. He'll get 20 points. That's just him. He's just going to be consistent. He's not going to have like an 8-point game or a 9 or 10-point game. He's always getting up there. So, I think he's very underrated. That's going to be all for this video. I might do this every day. I might just do a recap of the NBA, talk about stuff that's going on. But yeah, it's going to do it. Please leave a like, comment, and I did down below. Subscribe. I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all.